Greetings, this is the Timeshare Traveler, and today is episode 165. Key competitive strategies for Hilton, Marriott, and Club Wyndham. The reason for this video is we're coming into the holidays, so that all the next year's coming up, and we're coming into the holidays, and all the sales events will be happening, and all the broker tours will be happening. So just wanted to prepare everyone. So I'm I'm talking about the business environment backdrop, and the holiday season's coming here, so there's going to be a lot of owner updates occurring, and I want to compare the criteria, create a comparison criteria, how you compare all three. So in case you happen to be doing owner updates or on presentations for anyone, you can have a comparison. Then I actually have a comparison chart, and then lastly, my takeaways from that comparison chart. So before I get into those details, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my channel, but I'll be right back. Hi, this is Cliff, and I'm the Timeshare Traveler. Welcome to my channel. The purpose of my channel is to educate those who love traveling in timeshares. I've been an owner for 15 plus years at timeshare ownership. I have elite ownership with Marriott, Hilton, and Worldmaek. I have published over 100 timeshare video reviews, and I've published over 95 timeshare tips. I can be found on Facebook at Timeshare Trav, at Twitter, Timeshare Trav, and on the web at www.timesharetraveler.com. Okay, I'm back. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is the business environment backdrop. And so we've had inflation for the last couple of years, and so there's now an impact on maintenance, so you should be aware of that. Recently, Marriott's come out with about a 15% increase, and Worldmaek looks like they're going to be about 5.5%. And Hilton, I've not yet seen any information on that, but that's impacting. And those high interest rates also might affect the loans if you're going to buy and not pay cash for a timeshare. So I think that's one of the business impacts the consumer's facing in this market. Also, there's Airbnb, VRBO, etc. is competition for the timeshares. So like my kids are more comfortable with Airbnb versus actually having to do a purchase. So that's competition that they're continuing to deal with. And what are those companies doing to address that competition? Seems to be continued price increases for ownership. Part of that's inflation, so it's a real estate, so real estate continues to appreciate. And what new features will bring new sales? So one of the things you want to listen for in the business environment, always look for, is what are the new features that are coming, and that will be, if they're good features, that'll generate sales. And then the last thing is integration challenges. There's been quite a few mergers in the last 5 years, and so how is the integration going? And the three competitors, Hilton, Marriott, and Club Wyndham, have all had integration issues over the last several years. So now we're in the holiday season. It's approaching. I mean, well, I'm a little early to that, but we're coming up on Thanksgiving and Christmas, and the timeshares will be fully booked during those weeks. High number of sales presentations will be occurring. So I wanted to present this. That's why the purpose of the video now versus waiting right till after it's over. What will make a difference to buyers? Is it the quality of the resorts? Will it be the number of resorts, or flexibility of choices or features? Those are all questions you should have in your mind about that. And then, is it going to be a mix of new business selling to existing owners, or is there going to be upgrades? That's going to be the typical trade-off. So I'll be curious to see how that pans out. But those are the things that you'll see during the holiday approach. If you're a potential new purchaser, and maybe the first sales presentation may be a difficult one. But anyway, that's what's going to happen as the holiday season approaches. Okay, here's a list of comparison criteria, and I only list these out not because there's one choice or another, just it's a matter of what matters to you. So I broke out comparison criteria, and I'll lay out my view of Hilton, Marriott, and Club Wyndham / Worldmaek, because I own all three. So luxury accommodations, this is a measurement kind of the property, that sort of subjective luxury level. And then the next fee is maintenance fees for a week stay. So I try to calculate how much it costs me when I use points to stay a week. What does it cost me in maintenance fees for that? I sort of take my total annual maintenance fees and divide it by the points it takes to use that week. And the next one's amenities. So restaurants, are there rentals like for ski equipment or scuba gear? Is there a convenience store, etc.? So that's kind of the amenities level. And then the next section is the new program features. What are the known new features? Who's doing a lot of feature adding over the next year? So that's important as you go into it to sort of know where the future is. Are you investing for something in the future or just something that's right here, right now? And the other one is number of locations, and it's not just number not number of places, but number of places that you can go to. So some people have a lot of timeshares all in one place. So I look at number of locations a little bit differently than the number of places to stay. Anyway, that's my comparison criteria. Let me actually go through the comparison. No comparison would be complete without an eye chart. So I got good, better, best. So good is sort of one, better is a second, and sort of third. So third, the best is the highest number. And again, it doesn't necessarily mean that overall I didn't do a total score because it's not about who is better. It's about when you're buying a timeshare, which choice matters to you. And if that matters to you, then take the best. If that weight, because I don't want to put weights to the criteria, I'll leave that up to you. So from a luxury accommodations, Marriott, Vistana / Abound, they're probably the most luxurious. I would say Hilton is close. And they are improving because they purchased Diamond and they're upgrading. So, but I had to put them in second overall. In some ways, I like them better in some locations, but Marriott overall, I give them the nod. And then Wyndham, Worldmaek, I'd say they're the least luxurious. Some Wyndham properties do approach that, and there's some newer Worldmaek properties that do approach, but they typically don't have all the other features that you see in a Marriott. Maintenance fees for a week stay. Well, it's kind of the reverse of the luxury. So maintenance, Worldmaek is by far the least cost. I shouldn't say by far. Marriott is by far the most expensive. Hilton, in some cases, can be very close to Wyndham, Worldmaek. So I see Hilton as almost as luxurious as Marriott, but almost as low cost as Worldmaek Club Wyndham. So to me, that's my personal opinion. They're my sweet spot, but that's just my criteria, not necessarily the criteria that you would have. Amenities, that's all the things I mentioned about restaurants and so forth. And I find that Club Wyndham, there are very few of the resorts that are going to have a restaurant or even a convenience store. Hilton, they're going to have much more of that, or they're right by a hotel, one of the Hilton hotels, so you can get access to that. And Marriott, almost all of them have restaurants in the timeshares itself. And that includes Marriott, Vistana, and the Westin and Sheraton. New program features, I put Hilton as the best, Worldmaek, Wyndham, and then Marriott, Vistana, Abound. So there's been a year now where they've merged, and really I don't see anything new happening, and it's just more, having access to both sets of properties. And in many cases, the Westin and the Marriott owner was the same kind of person. So it's just a few more places, but nothing really changing that I see coming for 2024. Wyndham, Worldmaek, they're adding a tier in the Worldmaek, and they have the travel and leisure integration that they've been talking about that's recently happening and continuing to add more features. And they've added Vacasa and expanding that, which is a kind of an Airbnb competitor. So I see a little more new features coming with Club Wyndham, Worldmaek, but Hilton to me is the one that's got a lot of new features coming. They haven't even they've announced them but not rolled them out, and they're going to come out in 2024. And the main one is you'll be able to, based on your tier level, you'll be able to get rent credits, so you can rent days for free at various locations. They also are upgrading a lot of the former Diamond resorts, so you're going to see a lot of improvements in the quality of the resorts. So I see, from a new program, new things, I see Hilton having a lot more. It's also kind of what holds it when I say it's not quite as luxurious, because some of the diamond properties were not as up to the par even of the Hilton brand. So it's a double-edged sword on an improvement and new features. But I like the program features that Hilton and Hilton Diamond or HGV Max have added. In number of locations, I put Worldmaek has the most. And I can say that because I drove across country all the way to the Midwest and then back from California, stayed in nothing but Worldmaek or Wyndham timeshares. And I could pretty closely do it with Hilton, but I could not do it with Marriott. So there's the number of locations with Marriott and Vistana, they tend to be all in the same areas. And not that there's not true, Hilton has some of that as well, and so does Worldmaek. But by and large, number of locations, if the number of locations matter, you want to always be able to go to different places, then I would tell you that Wyndham Worldmaek is your best deal, followed by Hilton, and then the one with the least amount of locations is really Marriott Vistana. Lastly, what are my takeaways? My takeaways, and I sort of said this in some of the criteria, Hilton, but I want to summarize it. Hilton is almost equal to, in luxury, to Marriott, but costs are similar to Club Wyndham. You have to see how the diamond properties will affect the overall luxury. Again, they seem to be improving, and I've seen a few that have been rebranded, and they do seem to be stepping up on their making improvements. Again, the other thing is Hilton is a 3+ year modernization program for former diamond properties. So that to me is a plus, because I'm going to get more locations. I've got more locations, and they're going to get better as far as their quality. Marriott is the most luxurious, but it's by far the highest costs to stay at them for a week. So it's kind of, I guess you get what you pay for, consistency from a Marriott. I give them credit for that. But I do find Hilton in many cases equally luxurious. Club Wyndham has the most availability and the lowest cost. I've booked stuff the week before in some locations and been able to get it both, and that's much more difficult to do with Hilton. They also, with Wyndham, you have a minimum one-night stay except on the weekend if there's a Friday and Saturday available. So to be able to just book one night and use it somewhat like a hotel, I've been able to do that with Club Wyndham, but you can't do that with Hilton. Again, locations similar between Hilton and Club Wyndham. There's really a pretty broad. There's still more in Club Wyndham, but the locations are on the Hilton side are increasing quite a bit. Not the same locations, but just a larger number of them. And again, many of the Westin Sheraton properties are in the same locations as Marriott. And again, that's not to say that other locations, other properties aren't. So like there's a presence on Kauai. There's like 3 Marriotts and 2 Sheraton Westin. So there's 5 now, but they're all on the island of Kauai. Not that that's a bad thing, because there's nothing wrong with having more places to stay on Kauai. Anyway, that's the video. Hope you liked it. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already.